Hearing about new tech that the PlayStation 5 has is absolutely something that gets my juices flowing. I get excited by it. I tell you what, I love doing videos about it because as I'm learning about this stuff, and I gotta say, I appreciate the ones that have reached out to me and said, hey, you're actually learning this stuff. It's pretty interesting, huh? And yeah, I have to say, I absolutely love learning about video games and the components and what goes inside and the little things that are coming this generation to make things even better than what we've had before. It's all simply amazing to me. I find it super challenging to learn about, but also kind of fascinating as well. Some of it, takes a little while to learn, and I have to get help on it, through from some friends and things like that. But again, there was an interview and a developer is talking up the PlayStation 5, and I'm like, oh, okay, I know what they're talking about there. And it's starting to click in my own head, and I love that. And I can explain this to you guys perfectly now. And so it makes it all the more exciting. I'm super excited. Hey, what's up, everybody? Crapgamer here with Crapgamer Reviews, back with another video. Thank you guys so much for checking it out. I certainly do appreciate it. Please like, share, subscribe. I would appreciate that as well. It helps out the channel, and it means a lot to me personally. If you guys could just, hit that like button. A lot of people ask how you can support a small channel like mine or anybody's. The easiest thing to do is just like it. Okay, I know that sounds lame or whatever, but a simple like. You can also share it out or hit the bell so you're notified of everything as soon as it drops. And if you really want to take a minute to consider subscribing, I would appreciate it. Everything I do here is raw. It's unscripted, off the cuff. It's my own personal thoughts and opinions on things. Hopefully that kind of passion comes out through to you guys through in the videos, and I try to offer you guys something a little bit different than everybody else is doing. And so far it seems to be resonating with you guys pretty well. So when it comes to the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, Xbox Series X is without a doubt more powerful, quote unquote. But a lot of people would probably have you believe, if you're going to like some of these pro Xbox channels, that the Xbox Series X has this huge power advantage, which just isn't the case, okay? If you look at any consoles that Sony and Microsoft has released together, PlayStation 2, Xbox, PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, Xbox One, PS4, Xbox One X, PS4 Pro, and now PS5 and Xbox Series X. This is the closest in power that any of them have had, any of them in the history of the two franchises, okay? And that says a lot. So a lot of people that are out there expecting like these huge differences, you're probably going to walk away pretty disappointed, because what you're going to get is two consoles that are going to work great, and games are going to look great and play great. And I feel like people that are really just like, oh man, I'm going to get me a Series X because every game's going to play and look best, right? Okay, I mean, listen, there was such a bigger difference right now between Xbox One X games and PS4 Pro games, and not that many games look that different. I have both. I have multi-plats on both, with the exception like Red Dead 2 was one that looked extremely much better on the Xbox One X. But for the most part, your Battlefront 2s, your Call of Duties, your Maddens, your FIFAs, your NBA 2K, they look exactly the same. And I think that that's something that, a lot of people probably, will hate to hear, but that's just the truth of the matter. I do think the Xbox One X was a good console and probably my favorite console, but poorly supported by Microsoft means that it didn't really get the love and shine that it deserved. And the reason why it sold so poorly was because you didn't have anything to showcase it, right? Microsoft didn't have anything, no exclusives to really show off. And it's already discontinued, by the way. So in the 2.5 years that it actually had on the market, the only games that really were made new for it to showcase anything was Gears of War 5 and a Forza game. So, that's a little bit unfortunate, to be honest with you. So hopefully, and we don't even know if it's going to get the Halo game. They might drop the old consoles. They probably should. But at the end of the day, it is nice hearing developers talk about what to expect and things like that. Basically, what we're going to get is stuff that we've never had before. Right, like this upcoming generation, this is what this developer said. This person said, I think, and I will link this so you can watch it. So when talking about next generation, so the question that this person asked was, since you're a veteran of the games industry, you've had a lot of experience working on many high-profile games. One thing I've been wondering about this upcoming generation of games in terms of game design, it seems to be the same as the last generation of games, just more of it. Most things this generation have taken stuff that existed but made it bigger, better, more polished. There doesn't seem to be much new ground being broken. Why do you think this is? Would you say gaming as a medium is so mature we won't see these kind of breakthroughs anymore? And the response was, I actually think we're probably on the verge of seeing the biggest generational change with the next generation consoles that we've ever seen. So so you think the PlayStation 5 will facilitate jumps in game design? And the response was, yeah, that's going to happen. Is it the new generation because of what we can do with technology now? We'll open the door and approach of game design in an entirely new way. We can realize situations in this game that before we couldn't do because we were so restricted by the technology. I mean, when you look at all the consoles on papers, it seems like they're not a big jump. All it seems to be is slightly bigger numbers, but especially the way in which the solid state drive will allow us to do things that we couldn't dream of doing before. I think that'll change the paradigm, because now we can start doing things we literally couldn't have even considered doing before. So able to do stuff that they couldn't even consider before. And I think that this is a much bigger thing on the PlayStation side right now. And the reason why is because obviously PlayStation isn't putting their games on, PC. They're not putting their games on other consoles. It's not going on the PS4 or the PS4 Pro or anything like that. Everything that they're doing is literally just, sort of games that are actually able to sort of accomplish what they're going to do on the PlayStation 5 only. And I think that's a huge advantage for them as well. Obviously, being able to do and get some of the technical side of things like that, I think is realistically one of the things that's absolutely best. And for this developer to actually talk about like DLSS and things like that and AI and help enhance image quality, apparently this is something that machine learning that's going to be more commonplace and up for upscaling resolution. That was the question for the quality of next generation over traditional methods such as checkerboarding. So that's what the question is. They were wondering if like DLSS and all this kind of stuff is going to be used for next generation a lot, and the response was, yeah, for sure. I think the application of neutral networks is kind of exploding across all departments. Certainly with graphics, that's probably the easiest application of it that you can think of, because you're working with something tangible like image quality. But I've seen in research applications of it for different fields. Almost everywhere in games, it's quite an exciting time, because I think we are getting more powerful technology, which gives us new tools. But at the same time, we're finding new technologies and new techniques to do things that were otherwise inherently expensive because of neural networks, making them cheaper. So I think that's going to be very interesting. I think we'll be surprised to see the different uses people come up with across different departments, not just for graphics, but for other things as well, such as gameplay or animation quality. There are definitely applications there, and it'll be interesting to see how it develops. And asked about the solid state drive and how this will be able to help as well. They said, yeah, for sure, and this is what I was talking about. I'm quite deep into animation, and I'm very focused on the quality of animation and trying to get things to look realistic and feel right. And one of the restrictions you come across when you're working on these big games, especially games like Red Dead Redemption, is that you don't have enough memory to be able to fit it in all the data that you need. You have animators working on a myriad of animations, but that's all irrelevant if you don't have the memory to fit them in. But with these solid state drives, it just suddenly gives you the capability to load things faster, but it goes deeper than that. Just the way you architect systems changes. If you know you can stream data really fast, and you no longer have to go through all these hoops to make sure you can stream the assets you need for animation. If you know you can stream them fast, the stream loads of assets animations when you need it, and that all of a sudden gives you the ability to have much more fidelity in character animations. So ask then basically a complete from the ground up paradigm shift in how game development is approached because of solid state drive. The response was, yeah, more than anything, it's the realization that now we have the power to deal with an amount of data that we couldn't before, just because of how fast we can stream it from the solid state drive, which will allow us to create these big rich worlds which are densely populated and really well animated, with performances from characters that seem very believable, because we can stream all that data without any problems we have run into in the past. So again, this is realistically just kind of touching on what I've been saying. So you might go, oh, well, what's this DLSS? I've kind of explained it before, machine learning and whatnot, something that both the Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5 have. And basically what that means is it's able to take a quality picture, like a 1440p image, and make it look 4K just as good, and in some cases, even according to Digital Foundry, better than a native 4K image. So why would you do that if you have a 4K capable console like these are? Well, the reason why you would do that is it takes strain off off of it. So you could get, say, and I believe this is probably what we'll see, like Spider-Man Miles Morales. They're like, oh, play it 4K 60, whatever. And a lot of people go, oh, well, you probably have to turn off this and that and the other thing. I personally think, you know, when you're using DLSS, you can still get away with calling something 4K if it's not, okay? You know, just through the techniques or whatever, it's going to output at 4K. So you could say, yeah, it's going to be 4K 60 with ray tracing. Well, it'll probably be 1440p using DLSS machine learning with ray tracing, 60 frames. You get all the bells and whistles, and I feel like that's the sweet spot because 1440p on a 4K looks incredible, and you're not going to be able to tell the difference anyway, but it's realistically saving all that performance because, believe it or not, ray tracing and all that kind of stuff takes a big hit on these consoles themselves. So, you know, instead of taking such a big hit, and let's say you wanted something in native 4K, well, is it more important to you for it to say native 4K? Is that really going to be a big deal? You know, and then you might not get 60 frames, or you might not be able to do ray tracing. Like, I personally would hope that most would do the 1440p 60 frames with ray tracing and all the bells and whistles, because I feel like games look much better that way. But, you know, I'm weird like that. I'm going to definitely link this article in the description below so you guys can check it out. I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions on it. For me personally, this just realistically comes apart as something that I'm really impressed with. I'm really impressed with how they were able to sort of do this and how they were able to achieve what they were able to achieve. And I'm blown away each and every time something like this comes out. You know, just honestly, I feel like, you know, developers are really they're really underselling next generation, because we're going to be getting some fantastic stuff, some great games and great features, but this really puts it in perspective about what next generation is all about, that immersion factor, that immersion level, and I'm excited for it. You know, I definitely am. Let me know what you think down below. Thank you so much for spending time with me on one of my videos. It means the world to me. Please stay safe, happy, and healthy. Rack 'em up, my friends. Game on. Game on. Crapgamer out.
Unscripted.